Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another Market Conversations. I'm Jerry Hall. What an incredible week we've had. I'll tell you, as my ongoing search for yield has just continuing, door after door is getting opened, the ways and means in which we can find a product or a protocol or an asset in this digital asset space, put our money in, knowing that the asset itself and the protocol itself is still really nascent. But we get to capitalize on a staking or some form of pseudo dividend, an interest, so to speak. So we get paid to wait while maturity and adoption and regulations and other issues get brought to bear. It's really quite amazing. I think I was just talking off stage here, backstage just a second ago. I think what we're seeing with the rise in popularity of products like 1inch, the DEX exchange, Uniswap, etc., that the world is scrambling for yield. Traditional methods have really failed, in large part due to monetary policy, right? It's when you're eroding the currency base and monetary policy is forcing safe bond yields to continue to go down, some even hitting zero, it really puts the rest of the market in a really precarious place. Now, on one hand, money printing is destroying and bringing a lot of the cracks in the foundation to what we would call the credit super cycle. It's exposing these things. It's also kind of dangerous to those that are just seeing the price inflation of assets in the stock market. Case in point, I'm talking to a guy today, good friend, love him. And he's talking to me about a stock market, a particular stock. And I go look at it. He says, if you get a minute, go look at it. And I go look at it. And, it's your typical software company. They are relatively new. They got some contracts. They're generating revenue. But when you look at their cash flows, they're completely departing from their revenue stream. In other words, their cost of operation and their cost of growth has them at a negative cash flow. They're trading at 100 times their PE ratio, which is profit to earnings ratio. And if you understand anything about that, you want it as close to 1-to-1 as possible, right? Most good value companies will trade 8 to 16 in the PE ratio. These guys are trading at 100, and he's saying this is a good deal, and I really want to buy a lot of this stuff, and I'm buying more and more of this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I get it. I totally get it. There's an element of the crypto asset space that people haven't completely bought into yet. And for good reason. It's relatively new, right? There are those brave few, us, people who are turning into this show, who we're all in. It's harder for some people to do that, and for good reason, and I understand. That statement, though, in and by itself, is why those of us that are in now will reap such great rewards and gains as this asset class continues to gain adoption. This whole paradigm shift to a digital financial infrastructure that is all decentralized is a very new concept. Let me go through the list here and say hi and welcome everybody. Obviously, it's great to see Carl Lewis back. Lori, always a pleasure. Logan, good to have you. Scorpion, right on, man. Bill Gould. Obviously, Brady in there chatting away, right on. I saw a few others. P. Kelly, nice to have you. We got Tony. Hey, Tony, good to have you, man. Simon, I bank really good to have you, brother. Ellie Pool in the house. We got Wade. Good to have you. And Carl Wagner. Hey, Carl Wagner. Good to have you, man. So tonight, I'm really happy to be joined by a community member, Channing, who I met him through the chat of this stream, but also got to catch some of his appearances, like on the chain. He did a show and I really enjoyed that. And I reached out and I said, hey, I'd really like to get you on the show. Channing is a very interesting cat. This guy is got some eclectic interests. He does a podcast called Vessel, and it's about art. And I caught one of his podcasts, and he's got this partner, and they really kind of get into like the movement, right? What art means to people. How does it move you? How does it touch you? But he's also a crypto nerd just like us. And when I asked him backstage, hey, what do you want to talk about tonight? He said, hey, let's talk about Flare. Let's talk about some of these new developments that are coming on the Flare network. And I said, you know what? That's a wonderful topic because it dovetails right into what is near and dear to my heart. And that is, how can we take our investment dollars, make good bets, earn yield, and capture the capital appreciation of a network that gains adoption, right? That's what we're here to do. Place our bets and earn as many different ways as we possibly can. So let me bring in Channing. Channing, good to have you, brother. How are you tonight? You're muted. Hit the little microphone icon.
See, that's what happens. See, you have to learn this technology. But yeah, doing well, man. Thank you, man. It's good to be had.
Well, you know, you've always been in the stream on my show anyway, a really engaged participant in the community. And obviously I follow you on Twitter. So between your engagement on my show and what I get to see on Twitter and the stuff that I've investigated about you, you're a bright guy. You're a bright guy. And I would love if you could, like, just for a minute, take me back to what inspired you, because obviously you're an artist at heart, right? Spiritually oriented. You see things in things. Tech is a different world. It's very analytical. It's very science-based. What drew you to crypto? And then you've obviously developed a passion to deep dive into things and really learn. Well, how did that, walk me through that process? I'm curious.
Yeah. So in crypto, I've been affiliated with it about 3 years. A little bit of my background. Originally, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. And I had the opportunity when I was a kid, my mom, low income housing. My mom, she was able to get me through radiology school. So back in the late 90s, I actually was able to graduate from radiology school. And if you can imagine, when we took x-rays back then, it was on film. Kodak was still running. You probably remember. So I would go into the dark room, take an x-ray, go into the dark room, and then, allow the motion and the chemicals to process on the image, hang it up in the dark room. And then I was nervous to bring the images back out to the doctor. But obviously, as you know, technology has changed. So many different things. Back in 2004, we had the ISO 222 emerged. And then we started seeing USD, all these other different things emerge. And then Bitcoin comes on the scene back in 2008. And I wanted to learn about Bitcoin, but nobody was willing to tell me about it. It was just like this mysterious thing. And make a long story short, I moved all over the country, my wife and I, and finally we landed here in Los Angeles in the Arts District. And there were a couple of technologists and doctors that I knew, nurses, that were involved in cryptocurrency. And, things like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin ABC, and all these other things. And I was asking them, what is all this Bitcoin stuff about, man? But nobody wanted to tell me about it. And that was really frustrating because, we're saying that 1% of the planet understand cryptocurrency or even invest in cryptocurrency. I just feel like that's a really disservice, to mankind, because the type of things that this technology, this new tech, this new digital asset is doing for people is just marvelous, man. We've only just dipped our toe into the space. But a friend of mine I was working with, he actually told me like, hey, man, you need to invest in this new tech. Now, as an X-ray tech, I work in the operating room with doctors, surgeons, cardiologists, EP doctors. And I actually help them, I assist them doing the procedure. We help sew up the patient, different things like that. And we came across some new technologies. For instance, there's a device called TAVR for the heart that was just introduced into the United States about 16 years ago, commercially. And I had the opportunity to be at Stanford at the time when we actually went live with those procedures. So when I saw that new technology drop, obviously I invested in it, Edward Jones. And it was really nice to just see the stock price go up. So my big thing is getting in on the doorstep when it comes to investments. And right now, when he told me about XRP, he introduced me to ADA, HBAR, Hashtag, all these other cryptocurrencies. I just jumped on it, man. It was really nice seeing my profits, start off at 10 cent, go all the way up to 50 cent, right? And that's just one of the things I really got excited about. Sorry if I got a little long.
No, I love it. I mean, here's the thing. It's like, with anything, right? I can remember so vividly as a young person, basically it was how anything new came into my world was a friend talked about it, right? Or I saw it on television or heard it on the radio. That's how new things came into my life. Mm-hmm. And there were times where new things would come into my life and I'd be interested in it. Would be like, where do I go to learn more about this? And, back then it was magazines and libraries. Not the easiest way to curate information, right? But now, hey, we've got the internet. And the internet is bringing everything to everybody who has a device and a connection. And so what I think that does is that impacts adoption rates. Like new models are going to need to be generated to track and analyze adoption rates. I think the same is going to be true when we look back in 10 years. We're going to see a whole new set of modeling for price discovery and other things of that nature as it pertains to networks, right? Because they're all digital phenomenons, right? I mean, yes, we had networks in the old days with railroads. We had networks with electrical power grids. We had networks with hardwire phones and things of that nature, but nothing that moved at the speed that these digital networks are moving at now, whether it be cryptocurrency or otherwise. So with that being said, with YouTube and Twitter and the Facebooks and the Snapchats and Instagrams, and we're all interacting with all kinds of people all over the planet, getting the word out about something isn't very difficult. Sifting through the noise now becomes the biggest part of the job, right? And so I'm really, really excited to talk to you about some of these things that you are excited about, especially as it pertains to Flare Networks. But give me 1 second, because I want to say hello to a few people. Why me? Welcome to the gang. I saw the professors in the house. Bitcoin Candy tuned in. Nice to have you, Bitcoin. Fire away. So and I said hi to Carl Wagner. It's always nice to see Carl chiming in. So you were excited about a new partner to Flare Networks. Mm-hmm. Let's dive into that, because it's something that I've only heard about. I know nothing about it really.
Yeah, so Since the Flare networks actually jumped on the scene, there's been a number of partnerships established. We saw the connection with Litecoin, Dogecoin, Snoop Dogecoin, right? And some of these other coins. But also Flare Networks itself, Hugo is actually establishing some really phenomenal relationships with real estate when it comes to probity. Also, they're connecting to, which is something very interesting to me. Blockchain has now entered the door of medicine.
Yeah.
With actually getting in with radiologics. Now that company is affiliated with another company, Pack Global. Pack Global now is actually going to be running some of the masternodes on the Flare network. So the list just goes on, guys. I mean, the Flare networks hasn't even gone live yet. And we're seeing all of these partnerships being established. So it really got me excited. I was able to talk to James Rue. I know you guys are in connections at times, but James, yeah, James on his show, he spoke about the Pack node, the Pack master node, and that got me really excited, man. I think at the time, the master node, to actually get the master node up, was only roughly about $3,400. So when I looked at it on Sunday, I think it jumped up to about maybe a little bit over 8,000, maybe 8,500 now. So just within a week, Masternode has gone up over $5,000.
Well, hang on. The reason the price went up is because you need a certain amount of actual Pack token on your masternode to run it. It's probably very similar to the XDC type of situation.
Exactly. Yeah, the same thing with Helium. All of those masternodes, they have a certain amount. And just like you said there, Jerry, you have to have 500,000. Now, every month, the Pack masternode will reward those operating the masternodes 8,300 tokens. And you can just imagine that if it gets up to $2 alone, that's over $16,000, man. But in addition to rewarding those running the masternodes, the 8,300 tokens, you're also going to be able to benefit from the Yan token. So they're going to be giving us 100 Yan token. That's something that hasn't been established yet, Yan DNA. So that's really exciting. Yan DNA, without getting into too many tokenomics, it deals with healthcare. Yeah. So they're partnered up with Radiologics. In addition, you're also going to be given NFTs throughout the year. We can see the high price in NFTs. And once again, they partnered up with Gala. With Flare Networks, which is also now affiliated with Pack Global. I mean, this thing, if we can, just see the dots connecting right now, it's really exciting, man.
It really is exciting. I'll tell you one of the things that Wade, yes, sir. I'm sure Wade and I will be having a discussion after this show. One of the projects that I was keen on, and still I'm very keen on it, I'm just not able to continue the allocation rate that I was on a month or so ago, and that was Quant. Mm-hmm. Quant Networks and the Overledger protocol. The value that's being created in these networks. If XRP taught me nothing else, it opened my eyes to the Interledger protocol and understanding the value of being able to connect this valuable network with this valuable network in a seamless, frictionless type of way. And that's exactly what I see going on with Quant. And, because I see Cardano as an incredible layer one solution, right? I mean, they're not even really doing anything yet. And I get more and more excited about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They haven't actually produced anything that's doing anything.
Right.
But I believe in the team and I believe in I love their approach to the tech. Flare Networks I've got mixed reviews from people that I trust. Some people think it's going to be the next coming of Jesus Christ. Others think it's a complete dumpster fire. And I think only time will tell. But however, with that being said, as it pertains to Flare, most of the folks on this channel who followed me for a while, we own XRP. We're into XRP. We like XRP. Therefore, it was if Flare is going to give us a 1-for-1 match, we'll take the time to learn about your network. We'll take the time to try to understand the value proposition that you bring to the table. And so with that being said, I have had my fair share of exposure to the promise that is Flare Networks. It'll be interesting to see. I think, matter of fact, didn't you just say that a beta got launched just this week?
Right. So about a month ago, well, actually back in January, February, Indigo, I think he has his channel. What is the name of his channel? Let me remember.
Indigo?
Yeah, Indigo. You know Indigo, huh?
I sure do. It's
Deep Space Flare. There it is, Deep Space Flare. Yeah, so he jumped on with a couple of others, Anti-FOMO. Obviously, I was talking to Mickey B. Fresh and some other guys too. And we were just going down a rabbit hole of what was going to happen with this Flare Finance, trying to understand the white paper. And it was really phenomenal. So actually, the private beta went up in January, February.
Right.
But then later on, as you know, in March, they started up the public beta, and everybody can participate in that. The private beta, I think there was a little bit over maybe 300 participants. They came from a wide array of background, some banking, some, blockchain, whatever. And they all received the $14,000 NFT in conclusion. The NFT actually was sold initially for $14,000, but then it was actually put back on the market for over $1 million. So now they had the public beta that actually went live, and I had the privilege of actually participating in it on 2 different occasions, and it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. We've used Uniswap. You have the pancake swap, the sushi swap, and all these other swaps, and you just get murdered when it comes to pricing. I went in and I only wanted, Jerry, listen to this, man. This is just how stupid it is, okay? All right, I go in and I wanted to buy some reserve rights and some tail coin. When it was 0.0001, okay? I wanted to get maybe 10,000 of those jokers, right? So I put in for my tail coin, I put in $16. They want to charge me $60 in Ethereum fees. Okay. I only want $16 worth. And you're charging me $60? It doesn't make any sense. But when we got on the actual beta, the public beta, we saw how we only had 3 of Flare tokens. And I made over, I want to think I made over like 1,000 transactions. And I still had Flare. And it was consistent. The price never changed. It just charged me a drop. So I think when the actual system goes live, it's going to be really exciting.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I share some of the same concerns as a consumer. And that is, the gas fees. I got a buddy, Nick Black, does a great show called Crypto and Coffee. And I've learned a lot from Nick. And Nick has taken a position that it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Ethereum gas fees are the price of doing business. And he's found projects that obviously are in that ecosystem, and gas fees are a part of it. And he's just surrendered that if he wants early access to those projects, he's going to eat it. Mm-hmm. I come at it from a different perspective. I don't have a lot of money. When I'm making an allocation, a big allocation for me is $500. Mm-hmm. All right. That's a big allocation. Most of my allocations are in the $100 range, $150 range. And if it's a $3 trading fee, I can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
But once you start getting into $15 and $20 and $30 friggin' fees, it prices me out of that marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
It just prices me out of that marketplace, and I've just had to surrender to that. Okay, I am not going to be the MetaMask whiz in 1inch or SushiSwap or Uniswap or whatever, doing, or in the NFT world or any of that, and I'm really okay with it. So I'm really looking forward to a fast, frictionless, cheap way to move stuff around. Somebody asked a really good question. Hi, Gary. Nice to have you on the show, man. Also want to say hi to DC Precise. Nice to have you in here. And Steven, Kurt, good to have you guys. Gary asked, what concerns me about Flare? I'll tell you what concerns me about Flare, Gary, is that there are oftentimes the hype that the community is putting behind it will not be lived up by the tech that's provided.
Mm-hmm.
And, so maybe I'm a little cynical in that way. That's kind of the extent of my concern, is that there's going to be much built up about this without having it ever done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the rubber hits the road, you're in it and it's functioning as it's supposed to, and you can count on that. All this stuff is unknown. I mean, Channing's coming in with some experience in the beta, and that's wonderful. But how many times have we heard, hey, there's this great thing and it's doing wonderful, and the next thing you know, you read an article and there was some code disruption and somehow $130 million of value got wiped off the board.
Okay.
Oh, well, we'll fix that bug. We'll get right back to you, and it's going to be business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I am such a small fish in this pond. I can't afford to take hits like that. It's one thing to do your research, see a use case, research the team, look at the partners. What are they actually going to do? How does the token get used in the ecosystem? You do all that stuff. You put your hard-earned money into it. And if it doesn't appreciate, you go, okay, maybe I saw something that the greater market didn't see. Okay, great. I'll take my lumps on that. But to put my money in something that I've done all that research for and have some code issue create an opportunity for me to get a reduction in my portfolio at no fault of my own, that's a little scary to me. So I guess I would say that my apprehensions with Flare would be the apprehensions I would have with every new protocol. Obviously Cardano been around for years. Bitcoin been around for years. XRP been around for years. I don't have any of those concerns with those projects.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand that. I think one of the things that you touched on, what was the guy, Hutchinson? He said the value is in the protocol.
Oh, Glenn Hutchinson.
Yeah, Glenn Hutchinson, that's the guy. I know he had a Hutchin or something in there, right?
Yeah.
But on a daily basis, we're always using protocols. Now, one of the things that really gets me excited about Flare and also Flare Finance, like you said, I come from an art background. I'm an artist. I'm a sculptor, and ceramist, potter. I'm really excited about the NFT space. My wife, she's gotten into it with Portion. I'm sure you probably heard about how Portion teamed up with Bitrue, and now you're actually selling PRT on Bitrue. They have a great platform where their artists are basically getting on to Portion, minting their artwork, and actually selling it. But now when you mint the artwork, it can go anywhere from, let's say, maybe $75 to $150, really just depending on whatever, time of the day that you get onto the platform. But they reward their artists by giving them 500 PRT tokens, which now is roughly about $75 to $100. So you can see how it's kind of like buying back, the system. The artist pays a fee and they actually get rewarded back in PRT. And PRT is going up extremely well.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
Well, I was just going to say, the thing that's got me the most excited about NFTs is the empowerment to both the creator and the content, experiencer, the one who's going to consume that content, whether it be masses or an individual. And the ability to program rights, the ability to create revenue all the way through the chain of custody. So if Channing, you're the first person to buy Art is a Doorway NFT, you're the first one, and your wife was the one who created it, but then you sell it to me, your wife will get a little cut. Mm-hmm. If I sell it to Wade, your wife gets a little cut. If Wade sells it to the art gallery in Arizona, your wife gets a little cut. Mm-hmm. The way you can design revenue in these NFTs, to me, it is a game changer.
Yep.
And it's not just art, music. I see special edition cinema. Mm-hmm. Anything that has an audience, right? Like, for instance, case in point, think Marvel Studios. How many Gen X's and even baby boomers, and then the younger people who grew up on comic books, wouldn't like an authentic first cut of Avengers Endgame? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure, there's a million copies of Avengers Endgame out there, but I got the authentic first cut. Mm-hmm. It's no different than having the original Mona Lisa, yet there are hundreds of thousands of copies of the Mona Lisa all over the world. That doesn't take away the value of the authentic first one. Yeah. The authenticated, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So I really think it's remarkable. I want you to chime in here for a second, but I want to put out to the audience, hey guys, we're at the halfway mark, and this is a community showcase. Starring Channing. I really wanted to have Channing on, but I want to open it up. If you want to come on the show and come in studio, say so in the chat. Make sure Brady has your email address, and we will email you a link to come in studio and join the conversation. So why not?
That's one thing I really like about your show, Jerry. You're just really liberal, man. Thank you for being that way.
For being liberal?
Yeah, you're just a real kind, sharing guy, man. That's outstanding, brother.
Well, thanks, man. I'm getting you get a lot of positive feedback when you're good to people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm finding that in my Patreon group. I'm finding that with my interactions on Twitter. I'm finding that with the guests that I have on this show, the engagement with the folks that follow. Hey, Jared, nice to see you, Jared. And obviously, Kahona, man. Aloha, mi amigo. I wanted to ask, I totally get it. You've got a right brain, left thing going on. It's really remarkable that you can have one world, which is your, like, how you earn your money in the sciences, but you kind of live your life through your heart in the arts. And I was wondering about your wife. How much, obvious your wife is into art. Got that. She's got that whole left brain thing going on. How much of the digital asset space does she want you to share with her?
Oh no, she understands it much better than I do, man. Oh. Now you have to understand this girl, man. Hey man, let me tell you, brother. Yo, she wants to understand something. She has to dissect it like a rabbit, right? Regurgitate it chew on it again, chew on the cut again. So she actually understands the space a lot better than I do, and I think that's why she got into the whole NFT space. It was something that she had been meaning to do, but when you look at you start seeing how, okay, hey, look, maybe you're selling more art from an NFT perspective than you are with physical art. That's pretty nice, man. But one of the things I was just going to bring out, Jerry, with the NFT space, seeing how artists have to struggle. They have to pay exorbitant fees because here you're minting some of your artwork, the $150 in the Byzantine network using XRP and also Flare and Flare Finance. Those fees are going to drop drastically. So that's one thing that I'm really excited about. And you mentioned it also, Jerry. You talked about royalties. These artists are going to be rewarded in royalties every time their NFT gets sold. That's really exciting, man. The music industry hammered some of these musicians. You see what they did with the Jackson 5.
It was disgusting.
Coltrane, all these other guys, they just got hammered. But now you can put your music, your art on a minted object, non-fungible, meaning that object is non-fungible. It cannot be replicated, right? And earn rewards on a consistent basis. That's what the art world should have on it. It's funny because we deal with art galleries. On our podcast, we talk to a number of different art galleries, art collectors, and it's interesting now seeing a number of art galleries and curators getting back with us, asking us questions. Hey, man, how is this stuff? I'm seeing, Leah, she's posting some stuff about NFTs. How are you guys getting into this space? The world is just so early, man. We see what Beeple's
Well, I got an idea for you, and I'm going to share it with you right after I want us both to be able to address Justin Murphy's question. First and foremost, Justin, I haven't seen you before. Thanks for tuning in. Nice to have you, young man. I still don't understand NFTs. I'm not a dumb person, but I feel like I'm missing something. So, Justin, I could explain NFTs in kind of an easy to understand format. The non-fungible token, which is what that acronym NFT stands for, is nothing more than a digital representation with programmability. So if you create something in the digital world or in the physical world and then take a digital representation of it, you can literally mint, which is create a digital representation of that and assign anything you want to it. You can assign scarcity and say there'll only be one. You can say that there'll only be 100, and this is number 1 of 100. This is number 2 of 100, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Barbara Taylor, nice to have you. Nice to see you again. So here's my idea for you, Channing, before we bring in Bill. Bill Gould is sitting in the green room, and we'll bring him on in just a second. Here's the idea, Channing, in your local area, the local gallery that knows you, right, knows Channing, I want you to go in there, and I want you to work a deal with them where one wall is nothing but digital picture frames. Large, small, whatever, some combination, make it look cool. And then you load it with publicly accessible NFTs and do an NFT presentation at the gallery where we feature some of your wife's NFTs that can be on sale to the public that want to have them.
That's awesome. The only problem I have,
there's no charge for that, by the way.
One of the only problems I have with that, it's a phenomenal idea, fantastic, but I really don't like art galleries taking 50% of artists' work.
I'm telling you, that's your addressable market are people that come from that world.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of artists, they have to hike up the prices because of that. Hi, Bill.
Mr. Bill Gould.
We're not doing the mask thing.
If you feel the need, I guarantee you will not get COVID from me.
All right.
So what's shaking, Bill? What's on your mind, dude? Talk to us.
I am very pleased to be on your show, Jerry. I've been a big fan for a while. You and I talk online, offline, all that stuff. I've been trying to get some clarity on the Flare network for a while now. I don't consider my questions really tough, but I've been getting cussed out and called all kinds of names just for asking questions, trying to get clarity. With the Flare network, one of my main problems with it is that, or concern, is the Wi-Fi token. From what I understand, it's the governance, of the network. And
okay, hang on, Bill.
Flare teamed up with.
Time out. There are two completely sole and separate things you're talking about. Flare Networks is Flare Networks. You're talking about Flare Finance, which is a company that took a name that's so similar to Flare Networks that people conflate the two things. So I just want you to know that Flare Networks
totally
and Flare Finance are completely different. They're like Ford and Dodge.
That was cleared up.
No, but you're definitely right, Bill. And Jerry, the Flare Networks itself is its own blockchain. The Flare Finance is what they call a decentralized app. So that's a dApp. So you know how we have a Bitcoin, but then you can create forks off of Bitcoin. In the Ethereum virtual machine world, they have these things that are called dApps, so decentralized apps. So there's going to be hundreds, perhaps maybe even thousands of decentralized apps coming off of the Flare network. But yeah, you're right. You're definitely right, Bill. The YFIN is the governance token for the Flare Finance. So when we, I'm sorry, were you going to say something, Bill? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. With the YFIN token, the way I understand it, it's the governance token. So, and your weight of your vote is controlled by the amount of spark that you own. So millionaires and billionaires, or people that have large bags of spark, are going to be able to control the network. Instead of one man, one vote, or one woman, one person, one vote, it's going to be a handful of people that are going to be able to control the direction of the network.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think
that problem is everywhere. Every proof of stake protocol is going to have that issue. Well, how about this? Even Bitcoin's going to have that issue. If you come to the Bitcoin network with $25 billion and you're running X amount of nodes, you're going to have some influence with the developer community on the direction of that network. I'm not saying anybody's done that. I'm just saying it's a very real possibility. All the proof of work networks, if you have 80% of the delegation, then you have 80% of the voice. Yeah, I think that's systemic through all of these systems that are like that.
But one interesting thing is, Bill, is that you see the price of XRP at 55, 56 cents.
Yeah.
I don't think that price is going to stay where it is, brother.
Me neither,
brother. So I think some of the tables, there's going to be a flippening happening. So it is true that you have these guys like Jack Dorsey, Anthony Pompliano getting into the space, extremely Bitcoin maxis. Some are XRP maxis. I am not a maxi in any way. I believe in diversity, but a lot of these coins are going to moon. So you're going to see a lot of people from the XRP community actually being involved in the space. And I think it's going to be delegated correctly. But, hey, none of us can look into the future with the crystal ball, can we? But I'm thinking pretty positively about this project. It looks really sound. and seeing some of the partnerships is amazing.
I
But
agree
yeah,
on the
definitely.
surface.
So
Just like with Jerry, I agree on the surface. It looks really good. But 5% fees on minting the coins, that's crazy fees.
5% fees on minting. You mean being inside of the beta? 5%?
Yeah, I'm lost on that one, Bill. Can you
Yeah.
give us a little background?
So when we were in the beta, it wasn't 5%. I'm sorry, Bill. You got cut off there, buddy. Bill.
I
So
think I have internet issues don't work.
oh no problem at all. So when we got into the Flare Finance beta test, we were all giving some introductory coins that weren't really real. Sorry, looks
That's
like
okay. He's probably still listening. There he is.
But just to answer Bill's question about the 5%, I have heard some rumors about that. But when I participated in the beta, they gave us 500 USDT coins, which are basically like the Ethereum coins. They weren't real coins, so don't get.
I understand.
But when we brought them over from the Ropsten network to the Costin network, we had to wrap them. So when you do that, there was a fee, I believe. Instead of 500, I had roughly maybe 499. So yeah, there was a fee of like $1, maybe
Yeah,
$1.20.
That's 0.02%.
0.02%. Yeah.
Yeah. If my math's correct, somebody out there is much smarter than me. They'll tell me if I got it right.
Yeah. So he is correct. There is a fee, but we may not know. Through the governance token or through the governance, maybe some people in the Flare Finance community, they may vote to have those fees reduced. We'll have to see, what happens in the future. But yeah, there was a fee. So I had the 499 X USD because now we've gotten into the Flare Finance. And you can flip that back into USDT. But once again, you'll take another fee. And the way the networks run is really seamless because you have the Flare networks and you have the Flare Finance. So Flare Finance can actually mingle because you have that word, right? Interoperability.
Yeah.
Which basically means, just to illustrate it, let's just say you have a USB cord, right? This USB cord can go into a variety of different things, right? It can go, into a computer. It can go into, maybe a variety of different machines. But on the other end, you have what
we would call the device specific adapter.
Exactly, right? So what these networks are going to do, you're going to be in the Flare Finance, but you're going to be able to intermingle into the Flare networks as well. So the two projects will actually be seamless. You're going to have the interoperability, and also, like we said, there's going to be hundreds of other decentralized apps. I got a chance to talk to Indigo, and he was saying that there's tons of new decentralized apps just waiting to explode and get into the network. So, and we're going to benefit as XRP holders for having XRP, holding XRP, and for, we always see Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse talk about the utility of XRP. We don't see that as holders. Right now, you may see it when you make a transaction, but you don't benefit from the 3 to 5 second transaction remittance. Now we're actually going to be able to earn yield by taking our our assets, our digital assets, off of these exchanges like Uphold, Bitrue, Coinbase, whatever, bringing them into the community of Flare Finance and Flare Networks. And then we're going to be earning, like Bill said, we're going to be earning yield in governance, in the governance token, whether it be Flare Finance through the YFIN or in Flare Networks, we'll be earning Spark. And you see Spark is $1 right now, right? On Bitrue. We don't really know that. That's not really reflective of what it
let's
really
not
is.
walk. I'm not in that camp. You can't take one low liquidity Indian exchange and one low liquidity Singapore exchange and understand that only 20% of the globe has access to that trade. I have a Bitrue account. I can't trade Spark for XRP.
Oh, that's terrible.
Neither can you. Neither can any of us, except for.
What do you mean? You can't exchange Spark?
I got Spark on Bitrue. I am a Bitrue holder. I cannot trade Spark for anything. I'm a U.S. resident.
I can. I have been. I've been buying more Spark.
Then you're doing it in a way that is outside of the rule of law, and I don't have a problem with that. But I'm just saying.
Well, when you're on Bitrue, you can bring over XRP or any other assets that the Flare Networks is, whether it be USDT, BTC, and you can trade for more Spark if you want to currently.
No, you cannot.
Jerry, I've been doing it, Jerry.
Oh, I'm not saying you haven't. I'm not saying you haven't.
I haven't been doing anything illegal, Jerry.
You don't have some weird. Well, I'm not gonna ask you to disclose your method. Why can't I? Why can't anybody else in the chat? Are you able to? Because we got a lot of people that are on Bitrue. Anybody else able to trade their anything for Spark? I only saw one FLR trading pair on Bitrue, and it was with XRP.
Let me pull it up right now.
You can do. You want to do a share? You want to share your screen and show the world how to do it? Because
I don't want people knowing how much I have in Jerry. I'm looking at the. I wish I could blur the. I wish I could blur this, but yeah, I'm looking at the trades right now. You have USDT and XRP trades.
Okay,
so
let's see
if I can go to buy.
Okay.
And let me see here. Yeah.
You know I have my Bitrue account is open right now, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to exchange. I'm going to try it. I've got 330 Spark. And so what I'm going to do is go to XRP. I'm going to go to the FLR Spark. I'm going to sell my Spark.
No, don't sell your Spark, Jerry.
I want to sell it. Dude, I've got so much Spark coming.
No,
I want
Jerry,
more XRP. And
Jerry, we're live. Do not sell your Spark, brother. Here's
the message.
This is not financial advice.
Canning, I did this on purpose. Here's the message that comes up. Due to policy restrictions, trading service of FLR is temporarily not open to users in the US and Singapore.
Okay. That's interesting.
Due to policy restrictions, trading service of FLR is temporarily not open to users in the US and Singapore. I didn't think I was nuts. I don't know what you did. I don't know who you bribed. I don't know what kind of VPN you running.
Well, so some of us users, we're able to get
some of us are like, more important than the rest of you slobs out
there. I don't think so.
Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you this. This is really important. So all the way leading up to the snapshot, I had all kinds of people on the show. I had iTrustCapital. I had this guy. I had that guy. All people who are kind of, inside. Like I had the Uphold folks on, and we were talking about these things. I asked them, what did they think? And they said, in an open free market, Flare would probably trade it 2, 3, 4 cents max. Most likely be 0.08. I said, okay, great. Then we saw it come on the scene. Limited trading, only two that I'm aware of, very low liquidity exchanges. When it hits, and it's going to hit all of those places that said they would support it for the snapshot, Coinbase, Uphold, Kraken, you've got all the Eastern and European exchanges. That's a big addressable crypto market. I think very quickly we will see real price discovery, and within a month it will be what the market says it's going to be, and that'll be what it is. Now, if it's at $1, right on, I'll tickle pink. If it's 0.09, that's okay too, because everything can grow. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that's a very important point. I see a lot of people. Matter of fact, I have friends that send me snapshots of their Blockfolio screenshot, and they've included the number of Flare that they're going to have at the price that Flare is saying on Blockfolio. I wouldn't count on that.
Right.
Don't go write a mortgage based on that.
and you're so right. Jerry, I've been following you for a while, and I know you've been in the blockchain space for some time. I've only been in it for maybe 3 years, right after. But I don't think I've ever, in the time period, through all these years hodling, right? I don't think I've ever seen so many exchanges accepting the Flare. One particular token. There's a reason for that. They see that this money coming. And obviously, as you said, that Flare is an IOU. It's not reflective of the actual price. Once it comes on, it could come on at like 0.1 cent, right? That's okay with me. I'm fine with that, because once it hits your account, now mind you, that is a taxable situation, because you see but it's forks that happen, you get taxed.
No, that's not the truth. I'll tell you the truth. As quoted by tax attorney Clinton Donnelly. Okay. So if it happens this year, 2021, there's going to be a time to report your taxes for the tax year of 2021. Here's the thing. You don't have to give it the value on opening day. Do you understand?
Right.
You can give it the value when you sell it. Do you understand? And how does that make sense, Jerry? I don't understand. Because anytime you're talking about an asset, there is what they call cost basis. Cost basis. Cost basis is the foundation in which tax is built, whether tax liability or non-liability, right? Capital gain, capital loss. All starts with the thing they call the cost basis. Airdrops are very, very interesting piece. There's not a defined tax code yet. So how you define your cost basis could be the price of your XRP. So if you're coming in, like for me, my average cost of XRP was 42 cents. I assign a 42 cent value to it. Well, guess what? If I sell it at 35 cents, guess what happens? I can apply 7 cents per coin to the capital gain of some other thing. Okay. But if I come in with a 0 or a 1 cent cost base and sell it 52, that's 49 cents of tax liability. Yeah. Dakota, nice to have you. So, folks, don't listen to Channing about taxes. Don't listen to Jerry. No, I'm serious. Don't listen to Jerry about taxes. Talk to your friggin' tax guy. The important issue with the Flare drop as it pertains to the 2021 tax season is going to be cost basis. Right. That's all you got to remember when you go talk to your tax person, or you're interacting with TaxBit, which I'm an affiliate of, link below.
Very nice. Right.
You know what I mean? Don't listen to us two knuckleheads. We're not your friggin' accountants.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
going
I
to be
was
the
just,
crux of it.
yeah, I guess I was just leaning on what my my CPA just told me recently, you know, in some of his research. But yeah, you know, as you said, Jerry, there's going to be more refinement in the understanding on the forks and different things like that coming out this year. And I would say because after the SEC sees all of these XRP holders, you know, and all the things that they're going through, they're going to have their say on matters, you know. So, but yeah, I'm just excited about the
Thank you,
future.
Dakota.
Hey,
It's
Dakota,
going
how
to
are
be
you, man?
interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. We're in a brave new world. Where it's going to turn, I don't know. But what is so promising for somebody who spent their life making money, and not giving really two shits about tomorrow, so to speak.
Mhm.
This opportunity that was afforded to me in my 50s is I mean, it's giving me the opportunity to take what most would consider a limited amount of capital and turn it into generational wealth.
Mhm.
That does not come along very often. Sure, if you had the wherewithal and you bought Amazon at $5 or $10 and sat through all the weirdnesses and the couple of 80% drawdowns that they had in there, and then, you know, maybe went into a coma and woke up in 2020 and went, okay, Amazon's $2,100 a share, then you had life-changing experience with a small piece of capital.
Mhm.
That a lot of people didn't do that. But here's our opportunity, right? This is our opportunity. I'm taking every advantage of it. Like, I only invest in products that I can produce yield with while I wait for them to capital appreciate.
Mhm.
And that's either through staking or through a Celcius, a Nexo, or BlockFi, which I'm a client of all three. You know, that's my strategy. Some people strategy is, I'm going to put $150 or $200 in this, you know, 0.0003 coin because I like it. I think it's got possibility. And if it gets up to 10 cents, 8 cents, I've just, you know, made 1,000% gain.
Mhm.
I can trade that token for something else, or, you know, and there's so many different ways to come at this.
Right, right.
Is
And
I
it's
think it's
passive
what
income.
I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it's passive income. You know, programmable internet of value, man. You know, I think when you saw me on the show with on the chain with Chip, that's one of the things that we talked about. Because if you look at the Bitrue or Celcius or Nexo's platform, you plug in, let's say maybe on Bitrue, if you have 15,000 VeChain, 15,000 Sol or whatever, you come in and you purchase 3,500 BTR. This is not financial advice. You'll receive anywhere from 2 to 3 coins, any coin every day. And
Yeah.
that's the same thing with when it comes to the Flare Finance and the Flare networks. We're going to be able to see the same thing. Now, you could just imagine 2 to 3 XRP is not a big deal today, but 2 to 3 BTC is a big deal earning every day. You can imagine, you know, so in FBTC or XBTC, you know, you have the wrapped. Now we're actually going to be rewarded by taking our assets off of these exchanges. I'm really looking forward to it. And we're going to see the true utility of these tokens, Doge, XRP, Litecoin, whatever. Now we'll see utility as retail investors.
Wow. That is an incredible final thought, my brother.
Thank you, man.
That is very profound. I want to personally thank you on air in front of everybody for your support of this channel and your contribution to the conversation, whether it's in studio or what you bring to the chat.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Very much appreciated.
You know, you're awesome, Jerry. Love you, brother.
Thank you, man. So, Brady, get yourself ready. Hey, Jenny, we do a little chat after the show if you want to hang out. If you got to run, I understand that. But I want to bring in Brady and get Brady's final thoughts. And just do it to it. Mr. Brady. Oh, I want to say hi to Phil too. Hey, Phil from Australia. Nice to have you, my brother. It's always nice to see my mates from down under popping into the chat.
Oh, there he is. Good day.
Good day.
I was looking. It was the first word that popped up. Final thoughts. I'm gonna go with a random thought here.
Okay.
Because there are so many things that you can do, I guess be comfortable diving down different rabbit holes and exercising your ability to open up a project and look at it and figure out what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and see if you can find people that know not necessarily more about it, but that share the same interest that you do, so you can go and figure out, swap notes, and see what it's all about. I myself have not gone down that rabbit hole, but I've kind of circled back towards trading on a smaller time frame chart, just because I don't like using the word day trading because of all that connotation. But it works because of and I'm trying to remember the word.
Thank you.
Crap, and it was how I was going to tie it together. Well, that's just fantastic. Basically, if I've set up a rule that whatever money I make, I quick take it off and put it into Bitcoin. So as long as you're looking into your, passions of whatever project you're finding, just know, obviously, what you want to, what you're willing to lose, but also have an idea in mind of what you'd want to win. And at least then you can start, dissecting market caps and figuring out, well, you can't really go to Fantasyland, because if it did, then its market cap would be over Bitcoin. So sometimes you have to put the numbers together to see what equals what. And it kind of struck for me, because I was always thinking, 100, 200% was what I was going for. Meantime, the 12% or 10%, if they throw off, 200 extra dollars, I'll just go over, put that into Bitcoin and consider it a profit, instead of keeping it in that asset and then trying to, risk it again and maybe losing it. So I kind of see it as a get my gains, keep it, hold it, and then pivot and move from there.
Right
so
on.
My rambling thought.
That's your rambling thought for the night, Brady. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate everything you do for the show, and also as a friend. I will see you backstage in just a minute. So folks, I'll tell you, I think it's really interesting that for me, I've experienced this, so I'm going to just share my own experience here. I have, over the last month and a half, experienced on several occasions what I would call portfolio envy, right? I've got a Patreon group. We got 15 people. I do one-on-one consultations with these folks. I've got folks in my Patreon group that have, portfolios that make me look like a pauper, and, in different assets, and they're doing different things, and all that is wonderful. What I have to tell myself, and I hope that if any of you have ever suffered this particular thought or feeling, like you're missing out, you're not hip, right? You're missing out. All these other great things are coming. Here's the thing. We can only do what we can do. We can only do what we can do. Just because a thing is there to do doesn't mean it's important to do it today. I always take myself back to my premise, my whole thesis for what I'm doing, and that is I am trying to build wealth, refine my strategies, make fewer mistakes tomorrow than I made today, increase my knowledge base and my understanding of the world around me so that I can better choose the pristine assets that I am going to take my limited funds and invest in, and then create strategies around them to try to get the most from them that I legally can. There's always going to be somebody who's doing something cool, and there's just not enough time in the day or enough dollars in the bank to study every project and invest in every one. We have to pick our battles. I hope you're picking yours wisely. I think time will tell if we've done a good job or not, but I think most of us are in a very, very good place. And I'm really very excited about where the future is going. I thank you all so very much for tuning in tonight. A special thanks to Bill Gould for coming in studio, and an even bigger thanks. Bill, thank you so very much for that super chat donation to the channel. That was very kind, and it's very much appreciated. You know, Intruder Defense System, hey, welcome to the show, and thank you for the kind words. You know, next week we're coming back, same time, same bat channel. Stay safe, everyone. Do the best you can to be the best representation of yourself, and I'm sure it'll all work out. So until next time, everybody, Pura Vida.